Arcade's buff is officially live today, and I honestly wasn't expecting this to happen. I uploaded, or not uploaded, I updated the app earlier today, and because of the fact Arcade's balance info wasn't in the patch notes, I didn't expect this to actually happen. So, I didn't record any pre-buff gameplay because I thought that it was going to be next month because it wasn't in the patch notes. So that's fun. I have a buffed arcade this month, which is good, but I didn't record any pre-buff gameplay, unfortunately, because I thought I had an entire other month to do that. But whatever. On the bright side, he's buffed now, and I have all the buff notes here. We're going to go ahead and break them down, and then I'll have some gameplay, of course. The first one is going to be the fact that his torments from his SIG ability, they now last 8 seconds instead of 5, which is really, really nice, especially if your arcade is like low SIG, then those torments are going to be, less impactful than if they were high SIG, but because of the fact that their duration is extended, you can maximize the benefits a good bit more. The next point is with his persistent prize tickets. Basically, he's going to start the fight with 3, as usual. He's going to convert the 50% of his arcade tokens to persistent prize tickets, as usual. However, the difference now is the fabulous prizes pre-fight abilities, which are of course these, now last until the opponent dies, rather than if arcade dies. So, basically, this would normally be an issue because if you were taking a fight and you were relying on these pre-fights, if you happen to die, if you're going to plan on reviving arcade, you're not going to have those immunities or utility benefits anymore. This is not going to be the case anymore, which is really cool, meaning that arcade is much more safe to assign on Alliance War attack, because if you send arcade to path 9A, which is Hazard Shift Incinerate Poison, you can get those benefits on fight 1. If you happen to slip up and die, you're not completely screwed for the rest of the entire war. You can revive and still have those benefits from the free fights, which obviously giving a death in Alliance War is not good at all, but it's not like you're going to be triple KOing because of the fact you don't have those immunities anymore. So now Arcade is a much more legitimate Alliance War attacker potential, which I like because I'm crazy enough to assign Arcade to myself for War if he wasn't going on defense, but whatever. Next point is on the SP2, and basically the SP2, or actually I think it's right over here, on the SP2, when the SP2 would have been blocked, where is it? It's over here somewhere. Oh yeah, right here on the top line. He gains 3 arcade tokens if the attack hits the opponent, is blocked by the opponent, or dodged by the opponent. Originally this was only hit or block, meaning that if you push arcade to an SP2, he's just guaranteed to get 3 tokens at the end of it. So you're going to have to follow up the special attack with a heavy, unless you're playing Undermine, in which case you don't worry about auto block at all. So, it just makes him more annoying on defense. And another thing that makes him more annoying on defense is that when arcade is knocked down, he is only going to lose 2 arcade tokens rather than 5 like originally. So that's really, really cool. The poisons from his Poisonous Cloud over here, they got an increase in damage from 40% of Arcade's attack to 70% of Arcade's attack, which is a big difference, especially when the poison is the most easily accessible debuff in Arcade's kit. So I'm very happy with how that went. And then if you want to play the playstyle with Arcade where you trigger the auto block intentionally, place a shock on them, and just kind of spam heavies in the corner, now that shock is going to get an increase in potency from 40% of attack to 120% of attack. And the only difference now is that the shock is actually decreased from 10 to 3 seconds, kind of to balance it out a little bit. But of course the torments from your SIG ability is going to be pretty impactful in this too, and that shock is going to be pretty nice. So overall, his damage got improved, his defense got improved, his utility got improved because of the prize tickets being always on the fight, even if you do KO. And you already know I like this character, so we're just going to move on to the gameplay where we're going to show a little bit of these changes in action. So I'm going to show about 3 different playstyles in this fight, and the main thing you're going to learn from them is that no matter what playstyle you do, you're killing the defender in about exactly the same time. The first playstyle is the one that I choose to do, the one that I do in all of my arcade fights mainly, which is just get them in the corner, try to keep your cloud up as often as possible, but we're not going to be spamming heavies the entire fight like in the second playstyle, which you've probably seen a lot recently from channels like Metal Sonic Dude and Allison Edits who have been using it. It's not the playstyle I like, it's not the playstyle I find more practical than playstyle 1, but there's nothing wrong with using it, as you're gonna see from the fight duration at the end of the video, where like they all come out to be the exact same time. So this is my playstyle, the one that I created. I'm not going to say created because it was probably the intended playstyle based off of deep dives and stuff, but the one that I've been using ever since I did my initial arcade testing stream back 6 months ago. Just get them in the corner, keep the cloud up as often as possible, but you don't have to force it as often as possible, and then just spam the SP2s, which are going to place the incinerates and bleeds, which are just going to do overall more damage than spamming SP1. And then the defender goes down in exactly 1 minute. Next up, we're going to do the a bit crazier playstyle, which again, this is the one you've probably seen a lot recently, where you are getting the opponent in the corner, spamming heavy attack the whole fight, and because of Arcade's ability where he can just auto-block when he's performing a heavy attack, as long as he has 2 tokens, you just auto-block the entire fight. Winter Soldier early on in this fight like doesn't do anything, so I'm just getting free heavy attacks, but there we trigger the auto-block, and the main reason I'm not a big fan of this playstyle is because you're sacrificing damage by losing Arcade tokens if you intentionally trigger the auto-block all the time. But it's good still when in certain scenarios you're going to get that shock to, you know, even out some of the damage you're losing by having low Arcade tokens, and then you get them back pretty fast if you're playing against a defender that lets you keep them in the corner a lot. And the part where I said like keeping them in the corner a lot is a condition there is why I don't use that playstyle too much, because then you're going to be struggling a bit to get your Arcade tokens back sometimes if they aren't just easily able to get back in the corner. Not always the case, but it's just not the playstyle for me. So here I'm going to show you the next thing that they changed, which is the fact that if you die with pre-fights active, their pre-fights stay until the defender goes down. As you can see, they're still there. Huge for Alliance War scenarios and questing scenarios, and it's just such a good change. Underrated change probably. And yeah, I really like it. The next rotation I'm going to show you is just the Black Cat synergy rotation, which is going to give you an 80% Fury buff whenever you trigger an auto block. It lasts for only 4 seconds or 2 seconds, something like that, but is paused during your own special attacks. So if you line it up properly with the defender, where you can get a special 2 off with that Fury active, then you're going to be gaining much more damage and such. So here I messed up, unfortunately, and then I get hit there. So you know what, that probably caused the fight to last a little bit longer than it needed to, so maybe subtract like 5 to 10 seconds from how this fight duration is going to end up being. But like, that Fury buff is definitely helpful. You probably use the more spam heavy rotation with the Fury synergy than the classic rotation that I showed first. Either way, it's a good synergy. It's not something he really needs, but Black Cat's a great champion and it definitely helps him out, so no reason not to run it if you can afford to run Black Cat. I have no idea what happened there, but the defender goes down right there. I dropped the SP2 just to finish him off, and then you can see the fight duration was 1 minute and 1 second, so probably about 55 seconds if I didn't get hit earlier. And then here, I'm showing off the fact that if you take a knockdown, you only lose 2 tokens rather than 5, which is really, really nice for if you slip up, because I hated the fact that I was losing a whole half of my max tokens when I take a knockdown on accident. And now it's only 20% of my max tokens, which is a big difference. Last fight in the video is going to be Gauntlet Doom. This fight kind of shows off the power of the spam auto block rotation because of the fact that Doom keeps himself in the corner a lot based off of his special attack animations. And then we're also running the pre-fight that increases Arcade's ability accuracy by 100% on his hits, or just his abilities and the parry mastery. And then that's really helpful for the special attacks, your special 2 specifically, because then if it gets glanced, it doesn't really matter, you're still placing the debuffs, right? Heavy attack into the relic here refreshes my cloud and then keeps them in the corner. I go for a special 2 here, and then I do a little bit of weird nonsense there. Bad spacing, but I correct the spacing later in the fight. It helps to push Doom to special 2 in this fight. I'm not gonna like intentionally only force him there, even though I probably should, but whatever. Here I'm just like messing around because I know I can. And Arcade has a lot of armor rating too, so you can just mess around in questing scenarios so much with this character, which is pretty fun, you know? So, he's in the cloud, he keeps getting poisoned, he drops the SP2, and because of how Doom's spacing on his SP2 works, he's just sitting in that cloud while he's performing it, and then we just keep going with the heavy attacks. He's about to go stun immune in a second once I launch a heavy attack. Or if I tried to knock him down, he would have gone stun immune because of the aura. But he didn't, so don't have to worry about that. Trigger the auto block there on accident, I think, but it worked out well for me. And then Dex the special 1, he's still in his little cloud area. I have my steadfast and an auto block that is potentially ready still. I'm literally just eating heavy attacks because I do not give a crap, and then the defender dies right there with that SP2. And that is Gauntlet Doom and my arcade buff video. So consider this just a little piece of what's to come, because the fact that I have a rank 3 arcade now, he's literally newly buffed, so there is going to be a rank 3 arcade showcase down the road, but I have a lot of other champs to cover first, so give me some time on it, but it will happen. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.